Hi, I'm John, and this is my show, An American Scheme. This is going to be episode 7. I'm going to be talking about Michael Jackson's first two children, Prince and Paris, and are they Michael Jackson's biological children? So, the first thing I want to start with is that, I think obviously, if you followed any of my story, I think that Diana Ross is actually Michael Jackson's mother. So, in the beginning, when you watch the movie The Jackson's American Dream, in that movie, when they're naming Michael, Catherine's in I guess the hospital room, and Catherine's in there with her mother, and then I guess it's Catherine's mother says, "I want to name this child." So right there, they acknowledge that Joe and Catherine don't name Michael. Right there, they even acknowledge it. They're not the ones who are naming Michael. They claim that it's the grandma's the one that said, "I want to name this child." What I believe that actually Diana and Smokey named Michael. I believe they had chosen the name Michael. And so that's why that's where the name Michael comes from. That's why they acknowledge that in the Jackson's American Dream movie. And so then they say, the grandma says, well, let's give him the middle name, or somebody, whoever it says, we'll put Joseph as the middle name. And it's like, yeah, Joseph didn't put his name on any of his kids before that, and when you actually look at their names, they're really wild names. It's not Tito and Jackie. They're in Germany. They got some crazy names. I looked them up, but I didn't write them down because they were just even too wild. I didn't want to even get into it. But their names are even wilder. Those are more like nicknames about their names. So Michael is more of a real standard name and stuff. So then they put the Joseph in there. And I have to mention, because Smokey, his name is actually Smokey Joe. That's a nickname his uncle had given him. It's actually Smokey Joe. And so I just have to mention that because I know people talk about Michael's middle name actually being Joe. There is some kind of discussion issue about that and stuff. But I talk about it being Joe, and I do believe that they put the Joseph there to help cover up the situation by putting Joseph's name as the middle name. It did make it look more legit. It said Michael Joseph, because then it made it the connection to the family. I do think that they might have insisted that Joseph then get the middle name. I wouldn't have surprised me at all. So then Michael, they did that with his name, and then as Michael grows older, he does all the things he does with his relationships and stuff, and with his vitiligo and stuff, and how he's turning the color in, he's having the surgeries, and he's an artistic person. He's allowed to create himself and do things like that. So I don't get too much into that and stuff. But then when he actually has the family with the white children, and if they're not his children, then it's like, well, wait, what's going on with that issue? What is actually going on? What are his issues? And he's definitely, maybe he's like, okay, you people never could see that I wasn't a Jackson. He's like, me and Diana were constantly putting it in your face. We're constantly posing with pictures together with our faces right there next to each other, showing you, can't any of you people see that we look just alike? Can't you see how our relationship is? Can't any of you people see this? So nobody ever seen anything. Nobody ever So maybe Michael said, when he's like a joke to the world, he says, I'll have some white kids. Let's see if they call them Jacksons, or let's see what happens. So these are personal things where you're getting in with Michael, really personal issues on why he actually did these things. And some things it's hard to explain why he would have actually done these things. It's hard to explain. But the simple fact is that he did it. He did it. The first two children are white. And so the Dr. Arnold Klein, so the Debbie Rowe works for Arnold Klein, and Arnold Klein is a serious, accomplished person too. Michael respects people who are accomplished. From what I understand, I think that Arnold Klein has something to do with Botox. Either he developed it, or he introduced it into society, or he figured out how to use it properly. There was something about that. So he's mixed up in that. He's accomplished serious things in his life too, that Arnold Klein. So Michael and him had a personal relationship. They were very tight. Debbie Rowe is like one of these crazy fanatic fangirls that would do anything for Michael. That's the way I understand it. She's just like, she's obsessed with him. She would do anything. So she was willing to do the children thing. She's like, hell yeah, you know, I'll help you have kids. She loves Michael. She's a fan that loves him. She's willing to do anything for him. So she's willing to have the surrogate baby. But so whether she knows who the sperm's coming from or not at any of the time, who knows actually what happens. So it looks like, since I don't believe that Prince or Paris is Michael's biological child, because they're white, they're definitely white kids. And so you have the one guy that's out there saying the Mark Lester guy. So the Mark Lester guy is saying that Michael approached him at some time and requested that he make a sperm donation so Michael could use that, I guess, to do a surrogate pregnancy type of thing with children. And the Mark Lester, I guess he did do that. He said he went and did it. And he didn't know what had ever happened or anything. But now that the way the children are, he's trying to come back and claim. And he wants a DNA test for a different reason. Who knows exactly. But he is stepping up trying to say that he could be the father of both of them. But probably he thinks he looks more like Paris. But so I think the rumors about is that the Arnold Klein would be Prince's father, and I'm leaning that way. I think the Arnold Klein looks like Prince. I think that Michael and his relationship would have been close enough where he would have trusted him on a serious level, because you got the Debbie Rowe thing. So here, now you've got that situation, because remember, this is the first time Michael's doing it too. So you've got that situation confided within just a very few amount of people that they really trust, and the secret is they can keep that secret. So it looks like Arnold Klein probably is the actual biological father for the Prince Jackson. And one of the ways I look at it and say, this is one of the ways that I know that Michael pulled a scam, because Prince's name actually is Michael Joseph Jackson Jr. And I don't believe, there's no way in hell, from everything about the way Michael would associate to Joe Jackson, he would always, with the negative and the beatings, and even with him acknowledging that, yeah, he worked us and we had a great career and he did help us. Even with that, the negative side would overrule that. And I don't believe Michael, with the opportunity to name his son, which is going to be an incredibly famous son, obviously, is he really going to put that Michael Joseph Jackson name on him? But I believe Michael did that because he's using the name like they had done with him in the beginning, when they put the Jackson name and they put the Joseph in the middle name. And throughout time, nobody could ever catch on to the cover-up, because the name thing was a powerful thing, the Joseph Jackson, and they couldn't get into it. And it was too hard to get into that situation. You were having to try to figure out, where is this cover-up coming from? Because I'm sure people had seen it at a time, and I have heard rumors about it. People had mentioned it, but nobody actually went into it and actually figured out, oh, this is what happened. You know, nobody actually did that. So Michael used the name, and I don't believe he would have given, do you really think that he would have given his first child, the King of Pop's child, would he put the Joseph name in there at all? Now, if it was the other way a name, and it was Catherine, because he does with Paris, he puts the name on her too. The same thing, but he uses the Catherine. So he uses the same technique in her name, but he puts the Catherine as the middle name. And now if it was her first and he had done that, it wouldn't have stood out to me so much, and I would have think, oh, okay, that's a cute name. Yeah, I think that was cool. But since it was the Prince first and it's the Joseph, it's like, no, that does not fly with me at all. There's no way Michael's putting that name on him. The only reason he's doing it because he's using that as the cover-up. Because there's people out there that actually, a lot of people actually believe that Prince and Paris are Michael's biological children. And it's pretty obvious to most, the other side of the country, that no. You know, that is not his children. We acknowledge he raised them and he's a good father to them. So yeah, he's their father, but he's not their biological father. So I think the Arnold Klein is Prince's father. Paris, like I said, the Mark Lester guy was coming out, and he looked like the most, he was looking like the guy that looked like he might be the person. And then people would also say Arnold Klein, maybe it could be him, just because that would be the connection too. But so then what happened was, what I saw happen was Paris Jackson came out in public and acknowledged that she had a drug problem, and during that drug problem, a rape occurred where I guess she was intoxicated and an older man sexually took advantage of her. It wasn't long after that Macaulay Culkin stepped in as what he is known as the Godfather. I guess he's Prince's godfather too. And so Macaulay Culkin stepped into that time and started hanging out with Paris. And so then when I first started seeing him hanging out, before I'd even known he was the Godfather, when I first saw him step out and they were saying that they were hanging out, when I saw them together, I said, whoa, there's a resemblance between those two, for sure. And I already know my Diana Ross Michaels story, so instantly I'm thinking, oh, okay. So for me, it was pretty obvious to say, oh, okay, is he the sperm donor? So I started having that thought. Then not long after that, the two of them came out. They did photos. They released photos together and stuff, and where you could really see their images, where I was like, whoa. But then they went and got the tattoos, the silver spoons, the matching tattoos. It's not a yin-yang, but it's almost a yin-yang. The one's this way, the other one's the other way. But they're matching silver spoons. And I think it probably has something to do, if you listen to the theme song from the television show Silver Spoons. Listen to the theme song for that, and I think it probably has an inside joke to do with them coming together, where the one kid was away, then now they've come together, and they're the Silver Spoons, and that's what I think. And remember, they've put matching tattoos on themselves together. So you talk about somebody that has a significant part of your life, But I don't see him playing that significant right in the other children's lives. And it's one of these things. Again, it's not sexual with Macaulay Culkin, that's for sure, because he's got relationships going on with other women, and he's living out of the country and stuff too. So it's not a sexual thing going on with him in Paris. So what is it? Is it the Godfather thing, or is it actually that Macaulay Culkin is actually the sperm donor for Paris Jackson? He's actually her father. That's the way I'm seeing it. Macaulay Culkin, I think he's around 17 or something at the time where he would have made the donation, or I forgot to check his birth date and stuff. But I think he got emancipated. I think I read an article back when he was even 14. He was emancipated from his families legally. So he's like legally an adult. So there is a difference thing there. And Michael, they were really good friends. And Michael likes the idea of these really significant people, where Macaulay Culkin's like the greatest child star of all time. He's got the white features that Michael's going to want for, and that's why Paris, when she was young, you always hear her talking about being an actress, because Michael's pushing her in the actress role because she's white and she's got the white features, and he's saying, go live the white life, be the beautiful actress, the prom queen thing, and with Paris Jackson, she got that tattoo in her mouth, the motley, and that's a thing that white people do. And when you look at her gums and the inside of the mouth, it looks white. Everything about her looks white, and one of the things, there was the movie Finding Neverland, and the kids in there's the two kids that are in that movie that play them, and there's no doubt about it, those two kids are white, so I don't really know what the issue is. It's like Michael had a fake marriage. He got two sperm donors for the first two children and created white children, and he was living kind of like he had a white family, and that's what happened. It looks like Arnold Klein is Prince's father, and it looks like Macaulay Culkin is Paris Jackson's sperm donor father. So that's all I have for this right now, and we will talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.